Hey there, and welcome back to Scrap with Penny, where paper meets story. It's a beautiful fall day here. It's 43 degrees, which is actually quite cold for this girl, but I think that we'll have a little warm up later in the week. There's just that Arctic blast that's coming through so much of the country. So I'm snuggled up here with my pups, and I've got another installment of the dog series that I'm bringing. I had a page planning video that I shared earlier this month, and then I shared a single page of Sophie and Coco in their stroller called Spoiled Rotten, and then this is going to be a double today from 2021 for Sophie and the Bluebonnets. This 2021 goal I have to get all of these stories told is kind of the impetus for this whole page planning and getting the 8 layouts ready to tell. And I'm trying to see, oh, right here, this is Sophie and the Bluebonnet shoot, so we're doing that. I can mark that off. And I wanted to do a double layout today since I had done a single page on the first project. I try to, give a variety and realize that some people like doubles and some, like singles. So anyway, and along those lines, I just passed the 6-month mark of making content on my channel. And I thought, well, I'm finally starting to get the hang of it. So if you've been here since the beginning, thanks so much. And if you're new, I'm glad you're here and happy that you found me. Okay, so I have this sketch right here, and I shared in the page planning video that I'm going to do a different photo arrangement. I will give a shout out here to Scrapbook Generation, to the photo arrangement replay class, and I'll put a link to that in the video description because it's a class I took, gosh, man, maybe almost 10 years ago. And it teaches you how to separate a photo arrangement from the background. And the class actually takes you through several photo arrangements and several backgrounds, and it's kind of like a Garanimals, mix and match. So I'm going to put my feature photo on the left, and then I think I'm going to do a grid of 6 on the right. So that's kind of the loose thought in my mind. This is a 5x7. I printed these too long ago to remember. And these are 3.5. So I'm seeing a mat on all of these, and I'm wondering about bringing in black. I thought if I did a little bit of a black mat, it would pop off of the yellow. So for this scallop, I plan on using this aqua strip. If you haven't caught that page planning video, it's all using the Bow Wow, and I'm going to use this line, this piece of paper from, these are upside down, from Meow. I had a girlfriend, Sarah, that suggested that. So Sarah's also the one, I think, that shared the Virginia Nebel Pause for a Cause class. And I haven't said it any yet, and I need to get it out there. Virginia has a dog version and a cat version. So if you're a cat mom, then you can hop out there and pick that up, and it'll use the Meow line. But in that Meow line, there are some sweet little patterns that work for girls. So I'm going to use this right up here, and it's going to go against this aqua scallop. I'm going to put this pretty stripe at the bottom, and then in the middle, I'm going to have this yellow. So it's going to be a vibrant page with these beautiful photos on it. So see how I think a little black mat might work. I might do a double mat. I don't know. I don't want to overcommit. I have used this yellow before, but I have enough to get this, should be 7 1/4 tall. And so what I'll do, and I'll always do this, is I'll trim the branding strip off, and then I'll hold both of these pieces together at one time, and I'll cut them at the same time, and then that way I get an even cut, I get an exact 7 1/4 on each sheet. And let's see, this is a page maps from June 2024. I'm going to use Bazzill white canvas as my background. And I think I'm going to pull in a cut file as my title. So yeah, I think that's all I need to say to get started. And where I'll start is trimming up my photos. And oh, I know what else I was going to say. I have a video on how to scale page maps. And so the floral up here is going to be 0.75 by 11, and the stripe is going to be 5/8 by 11, and then the gingham goes the width of the page 12 inches at that 7 1/4. So I'll probably go ahead and cut up all my paper and then trim my photos, and we'll get going. I'll be back. I've shared many times that I love this little Creative Memories trimmer. It was a gift from my youngest son and his wife last Christmas. It was on my wish list, and I use a Dorothy Guinan Scrapbooking Quebec hack on the low tack mint tape. And I will say that every once in a while you need to replace the tape because it will I think I need to take a little more sliver off of this. This tape will start bumping up, but it's no big deal. My trimmer isn't awake yet. Okay. And so I freely cut two sides, and then to get a uniform cut on several pictures, especially when you're going to put them in a grid, I will then bump the last two sides up against this tape, and then I know that each picture is getting cut at the same mark. And then I've got all of my photos that are uniform. So I have my pattern papers cut, and look at that sweet baby. So Sophie's my first girl dog. I've never had a girl dog, and I never had a daughter until my sons got married. So I have had fun with having a little girl. So I wanted to lay these out to see what a mat would look like. And as per usual, if I'm going to mat them, I'm going to have to trim them down. So here's the sketch. And, oh, I need to trim. These are just 11. So I'll trim those down. The other thing I'll say on my Bazzill is when I cut the branding strips off, I also will cut it 2 at a time so that I get an even cut. And y'all, that's why I have the Rota trim, because it's a little more heavy duty and it can handle cutting 2 pieces of paper or 2 pieces of cardstock at one time. So just kind of for grins. Oh, that's going to be so cute. That's the problem though with working with stickers, is you can't lay them out until you're getting ready to use them. So I'll just park this sticker back on the sheet. Did you grab this Bow Wow collection, or are you a cat person? Did you get the meow? I would love to hear that. Okay, so I do want to mat the photos. I just think it gives such a pop, especially on a photo shoot like this. And I shared in the planning video that my girlfriend Sheila was a pet photographer when she was here, and she took these shots for me of Sophie. So just real quick, here's what it would look like whoops, with a white mat, and I just didn't think it was popping very much, so I did cut a black mat, and then I cut down my white mat. And see, that's the pop I'm looking for. So I'm gonna trim my pictures down and trim the rest of these white mats down. I'll be back. So here's kind of a loose look at it. I mean, it's impossible to get them straight. And I think that gives me some direction for my cut file now, because I think I'll cut it in black. And on the mat for this, I want to wait until these are taped down, and then I'm going to configure this height to match up with the height of these combined. So this is a 5x7, and the black squares are now 3.5 by 5. The photos are 3 1/4, and the white mats are 3 3/8. So since this is 7 with a gap in between, I'm going to need to mat this to get the height to match up. Okay, so let me do my cut file. So while I was waiting for the cut file to cut, I went ahead and taped down my papers, and then I taped the black mats down, and then I put the white mats onto the black mats. And I've shared that I just think it's easier to mat things if the bottom base is stable. And so for the alignment on these, I didn't use my Misty corners. I just got really lucky and got it lined up on the gingham. So I wanted the edge to be like not against the white, but against the yellow. And it just worked out that the sizing is perfect. So the next thing I can do is just go ahead and tape these down. And I can also now measure the size of my black mat. I'm probably going to have to trim this photo down just a little, and that's okay. And here is my cut file. Cute as a button. It'll really pop with some color in there, and this will be the mat for my photos, so that's why I wanted to separate this. Okay, so I'm just making slow and steady progress here. So I got this mat cut, and this is 7 1/8, and this is 7, and this is 6 7/8, if you're curious. And then the 5, this is 5 1/8, 5, and then 4 7/8. And I love the double mat. I just wanted to show on camera real quick how I think it's so easy to mat, because you know you're not chasing your base. And then here's the cut file. I've got it pulled off of the mat. It's so cute. So at this point, you know what? I was supposed to trim these down. Oh well, we didn't, so they're like that. So what I'm gonna do next is put my sticker scallop up there, and I'm starting to think about how I wanna back this cut file. So this feels like another episode of When Last We Left Her. So I had mentioned that I should have cut these off. Well, the more I looked at the sketch and the more I thought about what had drawn me to the sketch, it was the uneven width and the little differences here. So I peeled them up and trimmed them good enough, and then of course they wouldn't lay down, so then I put some liquid adhesive behind it, and then in true penny fashion I put too much up here, and then I tried to rub it off, and so I've got a little, it's like if you give a moose a muffin, man, I mean, all I wanted was some jam. And I've been knitting sweaters. So I'll have to put a little embellishment, a little round flower or something up there to kind of cover up that blot on the paper. And what's happened is that the cardstock started separating. So you can be assured I was rubbing vigorously. But let's focus on the good. I got the cut file backed, and it's really cute. And I've got my journaling typed up. I use the Coley Bean Nicole Google Doc that I always link her tutorial, and you can make a copy of her document, and then it's set to cut on this Hero Art sentiment strip die, and you get these really crisp and uniform and perfect journal strips. So I'll trim the jagged edges and pop them up on foam, and I think they're going to go right down here. I want to do this next because I kind of want to see what I have in play for the way of adding embellishments. And I'm kind of thinking, I mean, I hate to even say it, but I'm kind of thinking about bringing in some circles, like a little circle here, a circle here, and maybe a circle over here, or like, I don't know, somewhere. I would need something over here. Oh, probably right here over this grass area. And then I actually was also thinking about pulling out some real 3D real life buttons. I don't know. I don't know if I want to lean into the button theme or lean into the dog theme. So that's kind of what I've been thinking about while I've been away. And I will stop recording and get these journal strips trimmed up and keep moving on. Hey there, so I'm back and I have made some progress. I did decide to get out some of my circle dies, and I believe these are my favorite things, and they're the dotted circle stacks. And okay, so I cut 3, and the reason why I went with the dotted circle stacks is because I thought that would give me a little bit of texture, and it would actually prevent me from stitching. So on stitching on this, you know, I would either have a choice to do some horizontal lines. Can't do a line here or here because there's not enough margin between the photo mat and the paper, and I think it would look funny if I just did here and here. And I don't usually like to stitch on stripes because, you know, the color changes, especially, you know, when it's this small. So a horizontal stitch was out, and that meant I would do a circle stitch. Well, I wanted to put a small circle here, so I couldn't stitch on this one, so that would be stitching on 2. And so I decided, let me just get the textured die out. I don't have the Lawn Fawn stitch circles. I might need to see if they make those and put them on my Christmas wish list. But anyway, that's the rationale for choosing the stitched or the dotted. Just very subtle. But anyway, when I go to tape these down, I'm going to stop it at the yellow, so I'll trim here and here, and then I'll trim there. I picked the floral up here because I thought it brought some multicolor to the top to kind of balance out the multicolor down here. And honestly, what other solid color, you know, could I pick? I couldn't repeat the aqua. I couldn't do the pink. Didn't want to bring in the red, and didn't want to bring in the green. Green's already overexposed in the photos, and the red is, to me, a contrast for the palette that I have going here. So that's kind of why I picked the multicolor floral print. This is the little dot, and it's the back side of the multicolor word sheet. And then this one is the other floral. Okay, and so I didn't pick this floral because the pattern was too busy, and I liked this pattern because it repeated the shape of these flowers. And so toward this little toward this little flower shape, I went to my silhouette library, and I did actually have a design that included this little shape of a flower. So I went to this sheet of paper, and I just placed the flower on my silhouette software mat where these colors were going to be on the paper. And this is the Meow stripe, and so I thought that worked great. It gave me the colors that are showing up, and here I think this is cute, and I'm going to do it. I am. So, you know, living on the edge here. So I keep all of my buttons sorted by color in these little fridge bin containers. And I went and I got my pink, I got my aqua, which is with green, and then I got my blues and purples. And I pulled a bunch. I pulled more, you know, than I would use, so I could have a choice in color. And I kind of like the tone on tone up here. I like the pop down here. And after I get the flowers placed, I'll place a little button with each little trio. And this little square button, it matches the periwinkle paper pretty good. So I don't know, I won't do that. And so on this size flower, what I'll do is I'll pull out my enamel dots and I'll give the flower a center that way. So that is kind of the state of things. And I think that if I cut my circles and tape them down, then I can start putting the finishing touches on this. I did, you know, I said that I would either lean into the buttons or lean into the dog. I went to the ephemera icons and words, and I didn't see anything that really, I thought, coordinated with puppy photo shoot in the flowers. And, you know, I saw things like this or, you know, this, and a lot of the phrases are from the perspective of the dog, and I just didn't feel like they were really apropos to this. I can certainly pull them in and use them on the other layouts that I have planned, and I thought that, you know, anytime you can go to your, you know, stash that is full of buttons and pull some out, you know, why not do that? So we're going to use some buttons. I'm going to be okay with the texture. It is, you know, it's kind of thick. I'm going to lay this down flat because of the button. And let's see what else. I think that's it. So I'm going to pause and go and hopefully finish this up. And I'll be back in a minute. So I am back and everything is taped down and all my little buttons are adhered and the layout is finished. So let me just walk you through real quick what I did. I got out my Aunt Lydia's crochet thread to run through my buttons, and I just tied them loosely on the back and then put some glue on so they'll stay together. And I did pop this up on foam. I chose yellow enamel dots for the center of my little flowers, and I thought it was perfect because number one, it's a natural color for a flower center, and two, it brought in the yellow gingham. And I've got 3 elements up here, and I've got 3 here, 3 over here, and I think it's a really cute page. So it came together pretty quickly and I hope that you had some fun playing with paper while I had fun playing with paper on my desk. A heartfelt thanks to all of my subscribers. It's a month of gratitude, and I certainly am thankful for everyone that shows up on my channel. And if you're not a subscriber yet, consider hitting that button so you can be part of our community, and you'll just get notices on your homepage when I have new videos drop. And as always, thanks for hanging out with me.
Thanks so much for hanging out with me today. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, leave a comment, and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss a thing. I'll be back soon with more layouts, videos, and a little stash busted magic. So please come back and crop with me. Until next time, happy scrapping, and remember, this is where paper meets story. Bye-bye.